Well, let's take you to Heidi Giokos, who's following those proceedings at the Section 194 inquiry. She joins us from Cape Town. Heidi, I believe you are with the suspended Public Protector Busiswe Mkhwebane. What does she think of the past 2 days?
Yes, so let's just actually get some perspective from the Public Protector. Thank you so much for your time. We really do appreciate it. The last 2 days have been quite intense with the former Public Protector on the stand. What do you make of what she had to tell the committee?
What I will say is that I'm glad she came, and we appreciate it. And she has clarified a number of things, especially what was within her statement. Remember, they wanted her to speak about CX report and the Friday investigation. And during our engagement then, we said to her, these are other issues which have been raised, which you would want as well to be given an opportunity actually to address, especially the issues of Gogo Dlamini narration. So we were saying there's Siabi, who was assaulted by Mr. Samuel, and he was 70 years old by then, and apparently did nothing. So at least to reflect on that as well, to give her side of the story. And Mr. Nyatela also, who was complaining that his matters took 11 years in the Public Protector's office, and how to deal with such matters because they prejudice the complainants. I think also it was very good that we had to bring to fore the judgments which had scathing comments about her reports, especially the NEF judgment and the SABS judgment, which Judge Bodorel in another said the behavior was outstanding. They did the matter without an open mind. So just to show that, having such charges against me and as well taking them directly from the court judgments, as Mpofu would say, then we are wasting money. If you've decided, then proceed. But also it showed that judges can come to a wrong judgment based on, in fact, to a judgment based on wrong facts. I mean, Friday was clobbered with personal costs because they said I changed her provisional report. And she confirmed that that report was not final. That report was, in fact, that provisional report was not even signed. So that was clear. So now that was taken over to, in fact, all over to the SCA, even the Concord. They never came to a different conclusion. So I think that also brought a perspective which, if we have a fair process and fair decision makers, that should be taken into consideration. Yeah.
I just want to ask a question in terms of, it was quite heated and there was quite a lot of exchange of words between Senior Counsel Dali Mpofu and the former Public Protector. Do you feel as though your legal team was given a fair opportunity to lead evidence?
Not necessarily, because I think the chairperson's attitude towards my legal team always has been like that. You know, yesterday even one of my colleagues was saying a 7-year-old boy was commenting when he said, switch off that mic. He said, ooh, this person is so rude. So I think there's ways which you can do and, be a chairperson and facilitate the engagements properly. I mean, when she was led by Advocate Mayosi, things were smooth and proper. And when the Advocate Mpofu came in, I think it's just a question of how you treat both parties. So sometimes it's not even necessary, because the most important thing is she was here to assist the committee. And I think that should have been allowed to show the committee that Samuel came and said this, Kekana said this, and this is what the evidence leaders have done. And unfortunately, it's worrisome to see sometimes the behavior of the evidence leaders, because it's as if they are on the side of the members of parliament, or as well they are the prosecutors. If you are a pure evidence leader who do not want to be associated with any team, you just bring all the evidence to the fore. Then the decision makers will then decide whether they take that or they do not take that. So unfortunately, this is what has transpired. And I mean, some of the comments of Abogondo, Basukras, rushing to, we are here, we have a mandate, we need to finalize this. But what about fairness? Because you can finalize that. I mean,
so do you feel that you're not being treated fairly?
Definitely. That's a fact. And I've said that several times, and hence the matter is before court on the 13th. We are going back of March to address all those issues. Because, I mean, you remember even the chairperson continued and Bogondo continued to interview or to question, oh, Tejane, I was sick. And they just proceeded. Then later, an afterthought. How do you regard that evidence? I mean, we are a constitutional state. We need to do everything within the law. You cannot come and say, no, but the rules are saying. Those rules must comply to the Constitution. And it should be seen to be fair. And remember, if fairness, it goes with the receiver of that. You cannot just say, no, I'm fair, or I'm not abusing you. But how do you make me feel as an individual? So I think it goes a long way.
I just want to ask lastly, the schedule, the draft schedule says that you will be on the stand next week. I'm not sure if the 1:30 meeting that will convene might change that. Are you ready? I'm sure that's also going to be quite a process for you, given that you're saying you don't feel as though you've been treated fairly in this inquiry.
I think the meeting will discuss that. And remember as well, we asked several times that with the shift and the postponements, and remember, when we were requesting a lot of other shifts in dates is because of the schedule of members of parliament. Sometimes we end at 2 at 1 because they have a 2 o'clock meeting. Sometimes we don't sit. It's not as if it's us who are requesting that. But then the statement should be ready, should be deposited by the 9th, and unfortunately we are here. That needs a lot of work to do. Remember, her evidence of Matabuche, of Bianca, should also still be incorporated into my statement. And I can't wait to take a stand to tell South Africa and the world what I've done, the best I know how, with no malice, with no dishonesty, but I was doing my work the best I know how.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. That's the Public Protector Advocate Busiswe Mkhwebane Masego, and I think we got her version of what she found to be the former Public Protector's testimony and evidence over the last 2 days.